Hi everyone, it's Sunday the 20th of September. A long time since I've posted a video on this channel, but I thought I'd at least do one more, if not hopefully a few more over the next few years, and give up an update to those on their own journey to try and get rid of their myopia and restore their vision. So a couple of things that I've discovered. One, you really need to follow the advice that Jake gives in his system, which is simple: reduce your close-up time, get out more, use your long distance, do what he calls active focus, which is the process of trying to train the eye to refocus again and to understand that those things that seem to be in blur are not really in blur, and that if you can get your lens to work properly, it'll bring it back into vision again. And trying to reduce your restrictions of contact lenses, which I use, or glasses, and reduce the diopters back down to zero again and get rid of them completely. For me, with contact lenses, I found over the last year, especially with this coronavirus going around, is that my eyes have been really dry. So I'm not sure if that's an effect of this virus, or whether it's just a new central heating system, or just the air quality in itself. And that's caused a few additional problems to helping me see clearly at times. As anybody knows, when your eyes get dry, you don't have the water that makes them healthier, and you're able to see more. So even when you keep blinking all the time, especially when you have contact lenses in, you don't always produce as many tears. And I tend to find a nice yawn sometimes stimulates the tear ducts and can ease that so you can see a little bit better. The other thing I noticed the other day, which I found very strange, because over the last month, after getting down after lockdown and having too much time on the computer and loads of close-up, which really negatively affects the active vision I was trying to do, and getting back out again afterwards, I went to meet somebody in a pub, following all the coronavirus advice of course, and social distancing, etc, etc, etc. And after a half-hour intense conversation with them, where I was basically just staring at them the whole time and chatting backwards and forwards, we went back to our cars afterwards, started driving away, and everything I was looking at was in perfect 20/20 vision. Usually I'm suffering a little bit of blur because I try and keep below the 20/20 in order to practice active vision, especially when I'm driving, which I find is the best time to do active vision. And as long as you're not below the legal areas, you're allowed to drive at a little bit below 20/20. So it works out perfectly for me. Now I don't know what caused it, so maybe other people can try this out and have an intense conversation with somebody staring in their eyes all the time and see whether that helps them clear up their active vision. The person was, I'd probably say, a little less than a metre from me, across what are they called, the benches outside, the picnic tables. I was sitting on one side, they were sitting on the other, and we were just talking for over half an hour. So I wasn't doing any active focus at that time. I wasn't looking around and actively focusing on something distant. I wasn't looking at a sign or information or reading information. But for some reason, when I jumped back in the car and drove away, every sign I was looking at was 20/20 vision all the way back home. And then I jumped back on the computer again and the blur started to come back again, and unfortunately I kept going and then went to bed. So I'd be interested to see if anybody else can have similar comments. Say something down below if you can test that out. Have a deep conversation with somebody for half an hour. Not only will you benefit from that closeness over this period of time where we've been isolated from everybody, but you may find it even does something. And that would be great to see if we can push a new angle of how to do a different version of active focus by actually having an intense conversation with somebody. Now I know it doesn't work over YouTube, so there's no point trying to stare at this video and talk to me while you're doing it. It's got to be out. It was a nice sunny day, so wherever it was the sunlight that was helping me, I was in the shade at the time, so I wasn't in the direct sunlight. But I can't think of any other reason. When I drove there, I was suffering from a drop. Things were still a bit blurry. It was only when I left, after the half-hour intense conversation, and I can't think of any other thing that happened. I had a bacon and cheese sandwich, a little bit of kale to eat, so maybe one of those magic ingredients caused some effect in my diet that I'm unaware of, that suddenly caused my eyesight to come back to 2020. But it'd be lovely to hear from anybody. Again, stick to it, keep doing your active focus, reduce your close-up time, take your breaks every half an hour to an hour, at least for a couple of minutes, if not more. Every 4 hours, try and take a break. Yeah, go and bake some cakes you want, but try and take a break from close-up. Go out, have a look around, use your active focus, just enjoy the scenery. Every 4 hours, do that for at least 1 hour, if you can. Of course, it's up to you. The more you can do it, the more chance there is you're going to benefit from it. The other downside I've got to report though is on close-up. Jake never liked using plus lenses. He's on the fence, we could say. It has its advantages at times, but I spent over 2 years probably using plus lenses because I wear contact lenses all the time, and therefore my far vision. When I'm working close-up, I wore plus lenses in order to give myself a closer up diopter by reducing the lens. And I was using plus 1.25s on top of my contacts to reduce the contacts down to just under 3, minus 3 diopters for close-up work. I'm normally working at about 4 in my left eye and 4.25 in my right eye. And using the plus lenses has been fine, it's helped, and it seems to reduce the amount of spasm I get in my eyes, locking up the muscle, but it also has potentially caused presbyopia, I think, where I'm finding it hard when I take off the glasses to read things close up anymore, and that never used to be a problem up until wearing the plus lenses. I could always easily transfer between reading up close and far vision, be it with the problems of developing myopia. But that's one downside that I've discovered, and I've over the last year stopped using my plus lenses, and it's been a slow progress back. I'm still finding that if I'm needing to read something really close up, like instructions on a really small on the back of a computer or something, that I need to put a pair of plus lenses on to mitigate that problem, which is not an issue. But after the 2 years I thought, well, what's the point of me wearing contact lenses if I'm going to be wearing plus lenses all the time, especially when I was doing so much close-up. So I removed those and returned to happier times, but with the problem with the possible presbyopia mixing in, which supposedly is meant to be reduced, if not completely eliminated, if you continue with the Endmyopia. So it'll be interesting to see over the next years if I can continue to get back into focusing again, continue to live the story, and hopefully produce something that is going to be beneficial for people in their own journeys. Feedback, give me some comments below if you got any suggestions of your own, anything you like. As always, love to hear from you. Speak to you again next one. Bye bye.